dude, Mason Wright. Welcome to the fucking podcast, brother. It's good to have you. Let's fucking go.
Let's go.
Dude, this is the first Saturday night podcast I've had, me and Trey, our producer. Shout out Trey, our producer. We're going to do some fucking whiskey. This is, I brought this whiskey in today, man. This is a bottle of Old Forester, Kentucky straight bourbon, dude. This is 100 proof whiskey. We want you driving home sloppy tonight, dude. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. But I'm not like a massive drinker, but I am a whiskey fan, and I love Old Forester. So I brought this as a treat. And
Sweet.
So, dude, hell yeah, let's do this. Let's pour this. Do you drink it all?
Not really, no. But I'll drink for you.
Oh, dude, look at that. I appreciate it. Yeah, because I would be.
I'll have a shot. We'll have a celebratory shot.
That's what I'm saying. Well, here we go, man.
Cheers.
Thank you for being here, Mason.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you guys for being here. Let's go. Damn, that's crazy. You did that as a shot.
I thought that's what we were doing.
No, dude, you sip this fucking thing, dude.
Well,
you sip this.
Yeah,
you
you
guys did a shot?
Here.
No, guys, what the fuck are you doing?
I saved her a little bit.
Oh my God. No, guys, look, this is a good whiskey. You sip this fucking thing. You let it burn down your throat.
Yeah, no, that got me for sure. Eyes are watering, but you can't see them. That's why you wear sunglasses.
That's why. Yeah, that's exactly. Dude, like just 100%. Dude, just so you don't see how fucked up I am every podcast.
That's so funny.
Oh my God. Well, it's good to have you here, man. Thank you for fucking coming on the show, dude. You're gonna run across the United States of America, dude, in 69 days. I want to dive into that, man. You're an ultra marathon runner now. You're an ultra runner now. You were a professional Spartan racer.
Semi-pro.
Semi-pro?
Yeah.
So
I won't make the full professional claim.
What got you into doing Spartan races, dude?
The woman sitting in that chair right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was. So I used to kind of backstory. I was a football player, lots of scholarships coming out of high school, some D1 stuff. I was good. I was a good high school player. Nothing would have ever came after the fact. I would have played a little bit in college, whatever. But I ended up wanting to pursue going to dental school, or medical school at the time. And so I wanted to focus on school. I didn't take any of my scholarships. And I was just a big kid. I was 285 pounds. Like I was a defensive end. So I was this big kid. And so all I knew was lifting really heavy weights and eating a lot of food. And so that's what I just continued to do. And wasn't happy, wasn't healthy. And it was her family was like, hey, let's run it. Because we've been dating since 9th grade. So way, way back. And her family was like, hey, we're running a Spartan race. Come run with us. And I was like, all right. So I lost a little bit of weight so that I could, keep up and run this race. And that first race took an hour and 48 minutes. It was the sprint. Hour and 48 minutes. That's how long it took me to do that first run. And I just fell in love with it. And then I ran another one and then another one. And that was in 2017, if I'm remembering correctly, was my first race. And it just caused this trickle down effect of falling in love with Spartan races, which then in turn I fell in love with running because of the Spartan races. And I only ran Spartan races. Like if you looked at my medal rack going into 2020, it was only Spartan medals. That was all I did because I'd never run a race before. Spartan races were the first thing that I ever did. And it worked out because, I love lifting weights. I love lifting weights and I love doing that kind of stuff. So it worked out really nicely because all I had to do now was run. Yeah. I had the strength to do the monkey bars, to do the tire flips, to do all the different things. So it worked out and I continued to pursue this. I ended up racing the world championship in 2019. I got 17th. I was one of 20 people to finish that run. They sent out a weather report a few days before that it was going to be 72 degrees. It ended up being 20 degrees, a full blizzard, and so no one was prepared.
Was that in Vermont?
That was in Tahoe.
Tahoe.
Yep, it was in Tahoe. It was bad. So many people dropped. I watched a girl's femur snap.
Dude, that'll happen.
Her quad cramped so bad that her femur snapped. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. It happen right in front of it because it was a double sandbag carry. So the guys had 120 pounds on their back and the girls had, 90? I can't remember how much their bags weigh. They've changed it now, but she was walking up this hill and went straight down for a quarter mile and then straight up. And when I mean straight up, I mean you were almost crawling. It was so steep. And yeah, just watch your femur snap. It was so bad. You had to swim. You got to the top of the mountain, and this was at Squaw Valley, and you had to swim.
Man.
You had to take off all your clothes. It's a full blizzard, and you had to swim.
Yes, dude. This is what I love about OCR, man. These people, they're
crazy.
They're clinically insane.
Yeah, but yeah, but basically, so I did that. COVID hit, and that's actually what sent me into ultra running. My buddy was like, he just hiked the Grand Canyon, and I was like, well, maybe I could run the Grand Canyon. And so he was like, dude, go. So I just literally it was like 3 weeks later, I went and ran the Grand Canyon. And then I was like, okay, that was fucking awesome. So I went and then ran the tallest peak in Utah is Kings Peak. Later that year, we went and ran Kings Peak, just 33 miles. And then I went and ran my first official ultra marathon. And then from that's what started my whole ultra running journey was COVID, because there was no races, so I just had to do shit on my own. Yeah, dude,
2020 was weird as hell, man.
Yeah.
That kind of that just threw everybody in a different direction, I feel.
It really did.
Dude, when have you been to, what is it? It's, what's the one in Vermont? I ran the NORAM probably 2018, 2019-ish.
I haven't done any races on the East Coast. The
Gotcha.
furthest I've gone is, actually don't even think I've gone outside of the West Coast. Yeah, no, I haven't. I've gone to Arizona.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Utah, Idaho, California, but yeah.
The OCR World Championship and NORAM, actually, I love the craziness of those races. You know, they kind of put together all the elements, you know, of all the different races. Like Spartans and Savage races and and
Tough Mudder.
Tough Mudder, but Tough Mudder really is that's kind of like a corporate
it's a fun
team
run.
building. Yeah, it's like a team building event.
Yeah.
But I do still love the fucking. I still do love that. I'm doing a big VIP. I do every year. I bring all my members and whoever else wants to go, out to the Tough Mudder to just do that run. Just I'm you guys got to come out here and get muddy for a day, dude.
Yeah.
Especially if when you're an adult, can you just roll around in mud? But the NORAM race, I got totally fucked, dude. It's on it's on a ski slope in Vermont. It's in the middle of fucking nowhere. So you just gotta.
Vermont. That's the whole state.
Yeah, dude, straight up. You're just you're lost in the mountains. There's nothing around, except for a Dippin' Dots and a McDonald's, and I don't know why, but that's just the only thing they got out there. And you get out there, and dude, they start the race with 3. I think it was 3 miles straight up a fucking black diamond. Double black diamond.
Dude, that's how they always do it.
And I'm you motherfuckers, man, you know? So that killed my calves. And then once you got to the top coming down, it was basically just like this, up and down, all the way back down.
Those rolling hills. I hate rolling hills.
Man. And it was like you said, it's going straight up. The obstacle itself, and one of the hardest obstacles is when you hit a hill like that. Because you're just what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
The rashes your quads for the rest of the race.
What's the hardest race you've ever done?
Ooh, it's got to be Whiskey Basin. The World Championship was really hard because I had hypothermia, and that sucked. But it's for sure Whiskey Basin, which was my first official ultra. It was 60 miles. At mile 20, my posterior tibs tore. For anybody who doesn't know what a posterior tib is, they call it the runner's Achilles. It's a tendon that attaches on a bone in your foot and then runs up your whole leg up to your knee, and it's a weird little muscle tendon that helps a lot with ankle stability. And they call it the runner's Achilles because to get surgery on it, they have to cut your Achilles. And I tore it at mile 20, and I finished the race. I ran 40 miles with it torn.
How did you run 40 miles with that torn?
Dude, we were talking about that. My wife and I were talking about that on the way in here because I had a feeling it was going to come up. And she was on the phone with me for 4 hours, and I was just fuck this. I'm done. I can't do this. I can't do this. And I just kept taking the next step. And I had her voice telling me you can do this. You got this, trying the encouragement. I'm sure she was worried as hell about me the whole time. But she just kept telling me that I could do it. And then I also just kept taking that next step. And I still can't actually pinpoint how the fuck I finished because I was crying for half that race Like I was in so much physical. It's the worst pain I've ever been in my life. I had searing pain up my whole leg every single step that I took. And I just continued it. The dumbest thing I've ever done too.
Why? Yeah, like this one thing, I don't want to glaze over this. This is super powerful, dude. Like having somebody who will support you when you're running on like torn muscles is fucking golden. So shout out. That's fucking killer.
Yeah.
That's real. So that's in my mind. That's real. That's
I
what
couldn't have
looks like.
finished without her for sure, without a doubt.
Dude, I feel this intimately, man. The first 100-mile race I did, basically, my wife was at the end, and I was so inflamed in my quads and my fucking calves. Everything was so... Dude, I was taking ibuprofen like basically every 3 miles, dude, just to like be able to move my legs. And it was like, I know it's not good, but you know, it's like I'm dying, and my wife is there as I come through, giving me come through each loop because it's just a 2.5-mile loop.
Oh,
so
for 100 miles?
Yeah, 100 miles and 2.5 miles. Yeah, you know, man. This is how these fucking. I'm telling you, the people that come up with this shit, they live under rocks. They're like bugs.
They're fucked up in the head, is what they are.
You find these folks. I love for some reason.
I love it too.
I love it. Like what? I don't know. There's something fundamentally wrong with the way that we all think, but I love that shit.
Yeah, I need to do a backyard ultra. Speaking of,
100% bucket list for sure. That's definitely coming up. But like she would give me like a cliche motivational thing as I came through like the loop, and she would just be like, "You haven't come this far just to come this far," you know, and she'd like laugh, and she'd be next to me and she'd be giving me the nutrition or whatever, and I would just like kind of laugh. But dude, she gave me a new one every time I came around. It's just something
I love it,
and it just stayed in my head. It got me through every loop of the first
you're so
100.
delirious that it probably actually is motivational at that point.
It's super motivational. It is wild how acute things affect you at that mileage.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, you're so broken.
Yeah.
You're so broken, especially when you're experiencing like true physical pain.
Yeah.
And you're having to fight that while continuing to push. Yeah, anything is. Food tastes amazing. Anything anyone says is motivational. Yeah, you're in a whole other mindset.
You're fucking, dude, like 12 hours into a race, you're just hallucinating. You're just hallucinating, like, and it's totally normal. Like any ultra runner is just like, it wouldn't even bat an eye. Like, oh yeah, you're hallucinating. You were taking 0 drugs. And you were hallucinating vivid, like, fucking creatures, like, walking, like, crawling out of the ground. And that's totally normal to us.
Yeah, my hallucinations are more like waves.
Really?
Like what I've experienced is it just looks like the trees are moving, but not, like, alive. Like, kind of what you would see as an acid trip in, like, a movie where, like, you have just, like, it looks like colors, and it's not that extreme, but everything's more colorful. And things kind of move a little bit.
Yeah.
That's my hallucination. I have not had a true visual where I've seen like a hamster with a top hat running with me. Like I haven't seen anything like that, but it's mostly, I don't even know how you explain it, but it's just leaves moving and stuff.
Got you. It's almost like you took enough mushrooms for like things to start getting weird.
Yes.
But not weird enough. Not too weird.
Yes, I haven't experienced anything that crazy yet. I say yet because you never know.
Yeah, but, dude. Like this is, dude. You're fucked. You're fucked, dude. You're just gonna, because the thing about it is that every new distance, you're just gonna be like, all right. Every time you accomplish something that's like crazy, you get done with that race, you might not even, if you get top 3, you might not even show up to the podium because you're already thinking about like the next 50. You're like in your car puking and like green, like just looking online to find the next place to go do that to yourself. Yes. You know, it's insane.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. What do you think causes the hallucinations? I always like wonder about this.
I mean, it's an influx of all your endorphins, DMT. It's, I mean, I don't think they've studied ultra runners, but there are studies on this stuff. It's a mix of DMT and different endorphins that just cause your brain to be like, and you also have exhaustion and different hormones with that. That mix of everything just basically causes the hallucinations to happen.
Yeah. When did you, like, what caused you to first hallucinate? When was the first time? Like, what race was it? And like, when did it
was
start?
Whiskey Basin.
So it was that one, yeah.
It was that one. That's the one that I can actually think back on and see like actually visualize. I didn't realize they were hallucinations until after, which I think is pretty normal. But yeah, that's the only race I've actually hallucinated in, was Whiskey Basin.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because like when you have a certain level of pain for that many hours, it's like almost. I mean, you're like, there's no like what. There's absolutely nothing. There's absolutely nothing, no reason. There's like nothing in your mind, nothing in your body that wants you to move forward. Everything works to get you to stop.
Yeah.
You know? So like, it's interesting that you were able to continue moving forward with each step through that pain. Did the pain progressively get worse?
Oh, 100%. So I told myself when I get to, because none of the aid stations had athletic tape. Why? I will never know. Not a single aid station had athletic tape. I told myself, if I get to mile 40, because mile 40 was an aid station, if I get there and there's no athletic tape, I'm DNFing because I can't keep going. Like it really, like I didn't even know how bad it actually was, but I knew it was really bad. And I got to mile 40 and they had athletic tape. So I taped my own ankle because no one knew how to tape an ankle. So I taped my own ankle and finished the run.
Yeah, dude, just anybody who will man the spot, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also did that race unsupported. Like my wife was on the phone with me, but I had no drop bag, I had no crew. I did that race solo. I carried everything in just my pack.
Which for all the people that are listening to this podcast and you've never done like a race where like you self-support yourself, it's exponentially harder to self-support yourself in a run. It's also exponentially harder to do point A to point B in an ultra as opposed to a loop. Yeah,
this actually was a loop. It ran the entire ridge line. So Prescott, Arizona sits in a bowl. So there's this mountain range that's 60 miles long that goes around the entire city. Like you literally drive over them to get into Prescott, Arizona. And so you run that ridge line, and that's and they call Prescott, Arizona the Whiskey Basin, which is why the race is called Whiskey Basin, because you run the ridge line of the entire basin.
That's fucking badass. Where did you find that race, by the way?
It was a friend of mine. They posted they were running the race on Instagram, and I was like, oh, can I sign up for that?
Are your friends crazy runners?
You know it.
Like, who's your top 5 friends? Like, what do they do?
They're not runners. No, my like my one buddy, we ran a lot of Spartan races together. One of my best friends. My other one, one of my other best friends, I don't think he's ever run. And then I've got a few other, no one.
Dude, what motivates you to run? Yeah. Aren't you supposed to be like the result of like the top 5 people you hang out with, and they're all just like now running, and you're just like, dude, I'm gonna do 100 miles this weekend. You guys wanna?
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Again, Sarah's the one who got me into running, and
I wish Sarah had a mic. Do you run?
I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, she used to.
She used to.
Yes, and I unfortunately have to take the blame for that one. I was so competitive when I was younger that my competitiveness and us we ran together a lot. I pushed her away from it, and I've tried to pull her back. Now that I see the mistake that I've made, but I think we're a little too late for that. So it's an unfortunate thing on my part, and I 100% take responsibility for that. But
God damn, dude.
Yeah.
So you taped your ankle and you're pushing forward. What comes next?
After the run, or just
after you taped your ankle?
I just ran.
You just kept
I
running.
actually don't remember basically anything after that. I know that I talked to my mom on the phone. My mom and my stepdad were shit-faced. They were with their friends somewhere, and they call me. They're like, hey, how'd your race go? I'm like, oh, I'm still fucking running. And they're like, what? Like, and they're all freaking out, and they're with all their friends, and they talked to me for like, it was like 30 or 45 minutes. They talked to me, and I told them everything I was going through. I also had a blood blister that formed underneath my toenail that popped, and it popped my nail off on my other foot. So that sucked.
Yeah, you gotta fucking love that.
Yeah.
How much running have you done before that? Like, how much running have you done before you attempted this?
I've only been running since 2017. And even then I didn't run that, like even like from 2017 to 2019, I didn't run very much.
Dude, what was your training before this race?
Not prepared.
Oh, dude. The not prepared training, dude, that's some of the best.
And part of it was because I didn't have the people that were around me who did ultra run. Either I didn't feel comfortable reaching out to them for advice, which now I know that I could have.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other people that I did get advice from, they weren't very helpful. They just were kind of rude, but for whatever reason, I don't know. And so I didn't get a ton of help. And then all of my friends weren't runners. So I just was like, okay, how the fuck do I run an ultra marathon? So I just ran a bunch of 15-mile runs. And that's all I did.
Dude, that's fucking real, by the way. Like, when I first started trying to learn the guitar, I'd go into the guitar shop and ask some questions, and they would just like be mad I was there.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, when you're doing something new, like, yes, I suck. Like, I would say, like, what kind of like strings should I buy? And should I get this gauge? Should I get this? Well,
Yes.
come on, kid.
Yeah.
How are you gonna be in this fucking guitar store and not know what gauge? What kind of music are you fucking playing, man? What note? I'm like,
I don't know.
I just want to play the solo from the Eagles song.
Yeah.
Anyways, I feel what you're saying. That doesn't make any sense to me, but like you definitely can. I talked to that Cody Eubank guy over the weekend. Actually, same weekend I talked to you.
Nice.
Because he had just ran that 250 miles, and I have this thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to get 200 miles under 24. But I've got to...
Wait, you're going to try and do 200 under 24?
48. My
Oh,
bad. Oh my God.
I was
no
like,
fucking
holy
way. No fucking way.
shit.
No. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. Correct
Just
it.
marathon world record for...
No. No. It's 200. It's 248. It's 248. And I'm going for 130 and under 24. So I was in April.
That's the number that I knew was 130 under 24.
Yep. That race, the Lions Roar, that's coming up. So I just saw that Cody ran the 250 in 58 hours, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, what in the fuck is that? Seriously.
It's crazy.
And so I was like, and I had him on my podcast. So I just messaged him and was like, dude, you mind like meeting me? Just ask. I just got a few questions, man. And he had a lot of, and the reason for bringing him up is because you were kind of saying like, you know, you weren't prepared for this first one, but you did it. I actually think like when somebody asks me like, how do you run 100 miles in 24 hours? I just say, and what's the training? I just say, sign up for a 100-mile race in 24 hours and with a 24-hour time limit, and just drive there and show up, and then just start running.
Dude, that's all it is.
Like no training required.
Like right now, I'm running more miles than I did when I trained for my for that 60-mile race. Right now, I have a 24-hour run coming up, and I'm running a lot more now. But you can't just go run 50 miles every other day to train for these things. You just have like it's 10, 15, maybe even 6 miles. Like you just do the running. You just hit your mileage for the week, and even then, you just make sure you're doing long runs, and that's all it is. It's all mental. You cannot train past a marathon. It's not. I do not believe it's physically possible to train past a marathon. Beyond that, it's 100% mental.
I agree with that fully. And when I talked to Cody, I had just ran 34 miles and 15 miles before that. So I did 15 miles and then I did 34 miles. And I was like, God, man, I'm fucking beat up. I'm doing 100 to 125 miles a week right now. And like my body is just fucking broken. And he's like, dude, he was like, I don't believe in the, he's like, I don't believe in the long run. Like, don't do the fucking long run. Do 10 miles a day. Right now, just do 10 miles a day. No more than 80 miles a week. He's like, I never do more than 80 miles a week. And I was like, what about nutrition? He's like, yeah, whatever, whatever I'm hungry for, like during the run. Mm-hmm. Like, do you plan for? Nah, man. And he's like, what's funny is that like, he used to be like in nuclear science. And then he became a science teacher. So he's like all about the science. He's a really, really smart guy. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, yeah, there's not much science to this. It's like after you just run 10 miles a day every day. He runs 5 miles to work, 5 miles back every day. He does that 5 days a week. People think he's a lunatic because he is, and then
you have to be.
And then and then to your point, it's problem solving. So he's like, what's interesting is it's like you don't know how to run. Nobody can really tell you how to run 250 miles in 58. you have to problem solve at these races. Just how many races have you done and just like bunked and just like pushed through that and found solutions and not quit?
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, next time, not doing that.
Yeah.
Next time, not doing that. And then like, boom, but you just do it and do it and do it. But you like training is like, look, you don't have to do 10 miles a day. I don't even think, dude. I think like if you want to start becoming an ultra marathon runner, like I said, like you become an ultra marathon runner as soon as you sign up for something above 26.2 and you show the fuck up. Now you're an ultra marathon runner. I think
trail runs that are a marathon are ultra marathons too.
Dude, wait, hold on. Say that again and tell me why you think that, because this is interesting. Because it is far different.
Trail runs are so much more difficult than road runs. If you trail run a marathon, you are an ultra runner.
Yeah.
100%, because it is so much more physically difficult to trail run, not just physically and mental, because you have to be aware of everything around you. That's what I'm from Utah. I am a trail runner at heart. I will always be, even though I'm going to run across America and my 24-hour runs on pavement, like everything, like I am a trail runner at heart and I always will be.
Dude, sorry. I hate to interrupt this because I believe like this is like, dude, this is a fucking 100% correct and true in every way. And I want to keep diving into this.
Yes.
But dude, for your run, maybe you should just like run on the grass like the whole time, never hit pavement. You just like find a trail that makes it from like there all the way to Miami, dude, and be the first motherfucker to do like trail running all the way.
I don't know if I want to plan that.
I know, right? I know. Holy shit.
And also wildlife through Montana. I don't want to deal with that on trails. So.
Yeah, you'd have to just like carry a knife or something. Anyways,
we'll have guns for sure.
Dude, because it is so fucking true. It is unbelievably more difficult. So keep going. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm just like, you should.
That's pretty much it. Like it's just so much more difficult, and just being a trail runner at heart. Like it's like my first run was on a treadmill, half a mile, and I passed out. My next run was trail running. My first, it's funny. I even have the picture on my phone of my very first ever like run outside, and it was trail running. I'm one of the most unorthodox runners you'll meet. I never was a runner in high school. I started trail running, never ran on the road, and have just continued from there. I went from, I just went straight to Spartan races and then went straight to ultra marathons and have continued to also, like I weigh over 200 pounds. Like my friends call me the buff runner at home. It's my Instagram name, and now it's just kind of become a thing. But I've kind of always been this very untraditional guy the whole way through basically from when I graduated high school until now. It's all been very untraditional.
Why do you think that is?
I think I just there's a part of me that wants to prove that you can. Just like, why is it that every marathon runner, or why every runner's skinny? Why do they have to be skinny? Why can't you have muscle? Why are people telling us that when I first started running, they're like, oh, well, you're going to have to weigh 150 pounds. I'm like, why? And so I was like, okay, I'm going to win a Spartan race. I got second place in Hawaii weighing 205 pounds. The picture's hilarious because I'm as tall as the dude on the first place podium. I literally, like, we're the same height. He's in first place and I'm standing next to him. I weigh easily 60 pounds more than this guy.
Dude, I 100% agree with you, man. And a lot of it too is just like, dude, like the way that I see it is you just have to eat, man. You got to eat, and you still got to lift when you're you still got to lift when you're running. Like
you do.
And dude, when I was training for the Ironman, I was doing like,
that's on my bucket list.
Go, dude, you got to do it. Do the okay. Let me just tell you, like I've done a 24-hour run, and I've done 100 miles under 24 hours. And that is far easier to train for and far easier to do than...
Dude, it's a full-time job training for an Ironman.
It is a full-time job.
And you have to have a bike.
And you have to have a bike, yeah. And you show up, and all these folks that... And I believe this, that the Ironman, and I'd like to hear other people's opinion on this, but basically you were a biker for a long time, and you bought a $1,000 bike, right? And then you had that for 2-3 years, and you're like, I'm gonna trade that $1,000 bike in, and I'm gonna get a $2,000 bike, and you trade the $2,000 bike in, and then you get to fucking $3,000, and then eventually you got like a $1 million bike that just like glides through the air like a fucking spaceship.
Has a bladder on it that you can drink out of. You can pee into the bike. And
yeah, dude, 100%. Yeah, all of that, dude. It just like, it has these fucking these hoses that just like give you nutrition. It comes through the bike and in your body. You have little ports in your.
Cycling is a whole other world that I'm not ready to dive into.
Yeah, dude, and they're really like the bikers that are really doing it. Like there's what is amazing, I'm not a biker, I'm a runner.
Yes.
And so like I trained on this like $800 bike. I did the Ironman. I rented the bike that day. And by the way, you shouldn't do this.
Yeah,
you shouldn't
bad
do this.
idea.
You shouldn't do this. This hurts so fucking bad doing this. But yeah,
your knees probably killed after
knees
that.
and actually my core too, because just where my elbows were on the aero bars, where my elbows were and where my hips was just different.
Just not aligned
from all the months of training. But like, dude, in any case, what was I saying? Before that, I lost it. Ironman training.
You were going to a race.
Okay, yeah, the bikers. So okay, I got this bike. It's about $3,500. This bike, and it by the way was a night and day difference from the $800 bike. Holy shit!
Yes.
I will say that. I'm wheeling it into my hotel room because I did this in Italy. So I went to Italy. So I even like went to Italy to do this thing. And the guy down the hallway comes like pokes his head out and he goes, "Hey, do you have some kind of charger for like the bikes that like have the electronic shift?" Which, by the way,
my buddy has those on his bike. They're insane,
dude. It's like you don't understand how useful an electronic shift is until you're doing 116 miles in 6 hours or 5 hours if you have one of those spaceship bikes.
Because it doesn't skip.
Yeah.
It's so smooth.
But it's also this. If you have your bike here and you have to like come down, if you have to like come down to shift, if you have to come down to shift, like
like in
like if you have to come down to shift, if you have to take your hands off and you keep doing this, like this starts to fucking fuck with you so bad.
Yeah.
It's like, and then like your whole right side, especially if you're training on it.
The strain that it puts on that, even though that slight repetitive motion over and over again.
It's fucking insane. Like you're on the aero bars and you gotta come back and you just gotta come back. And it's like, if you could just stay on the aero bars, it doesn't seem like a lot, but with that kind of distance, it is a shit ton. And so what I mean is, like when you do your Ironman, you're gonna do an Ironman for sure.
One day, yeah.
You got it, because it was one of my favorite races I've ever done. Like the community that comes out. I was going through these small little villages in.
I just want to hear you are an Ironman.
Yeah. Yes. It's amazing, and everyone stands there as you come through, and they're like, "Dude, oh my god!" Like that's some of the best race I've ever done. Like just a great experience. I puked for 3 hours afterwards. Afterwards. I cramped until I fell asleep cramping and then woke up cramping.
How long did it take you?
It took me 12 hours and 50 minutes.
Nice.
I was going for 11 hours. That was my training. My training was to go for 11 hours. And I fucked up my nutrition in that like I did not get enough electrolyte.
Yeah, that is my killer across the board is nutrition. I can never eat enough.
Yeah, dude. And what I would tell you, man, is it was a fundamental mistake. So when you get into an Ironman, you have these bags for your support. You can't bring any outside support in.
Yeah.
So you have all your support with you. I have this like book just with my plan with all the nutrition, everything I'm doing. I was doing salt tablets. I wasn't doing any liquid electrolyte. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
And in any case, I was in my mind when I was planning and packing. I was thinking that the electrolyte tablets, the salt tabs, were 200 milligrams, and they're 100 milligrams per tab. So during the bike ride, I had half the electrolyte that my body needed. When I got off the bike, my core, because of my hips were in the wrong spot, was fucking cramping terribly right away, right before. So I had a marathon of running, and I'm already cramping in my core. And I was like, this ain't good. The legs were all right. The legs were fine. I crushed a swim, and a swim I was worried about because when I swam, we swam out in the ocean, and there was like jellyfish. There was It was dense jellyfish. So it was like really fucked. Like you're going through the ocean, it's like dense jellyfish, and they're like, they ain't gonna sting you. And actually, I didn't know if they were gonna sting me or not because I speak English and I didn't know any Italians. They were just like, they were saying something about the jellyfish. I was like, but I didn't understand it. So I was like, I'll trust that the jellyfish won't sting us. But dude, people were getting stung. Their faces were swelling up.
Oh my God.
but did all right in that. Got out, did the bike pretty good. Jumped off the bike. I'm like, oh my god, this ain't gonna be good. And I knew after like just the 3 miles, maybe 3-4 miles of running, dude, my calves and my quads start cramping. And I'm like, what the fuck?
You still got 20 more.
Dude,
22.
Right. And I'm like, oh my God, this is not going to be good. And so basically, long story short, I bunked the fuck out of that. And it was because of electrolytes. And it was just a fundamental failure in planning nutrition, something as small as that. And there's so much to it. So much to it. So I will get an 11 hour Ironman. What's funny is that 11-hour Ironman is still a scrub ass time for an Ironman.
Dude, I know these dudes will do it in 8 hours. It's crazy.
Yeah, what the fuck is that, dude?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like
they crush the swim and the bike.
Yeah.
Because it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy to crush. It's not easy to crush the swim, but the bike portion is arguably the easiest part.
I agree. I agree with that, and the bikers will kill me for it, dude. The bikers will kill me because when
there's no pressure on your joints. It's just pure quad and cardiovascular. Like it is the easiest part. The swim, I think, is the hardest part because I suck at swimming. But I think the run is probably genuinely the hardest because of the pressure it puts on your muscles and joints.
No doubt at all. The hardest part is the run, but the swim really is just like to fuck with you mentally.
Yeah.
The bike is important for the run. So like you got to do the bike right so that you can be ready for the run. So it's not like you don't want to compartmentalize it, I think, and that's what I think is fundamentally different from like triathlons. And by the way, triathlons are not Ironmans.
No.
I didn't even know this until I was done running the Ironman, that an Ironman is like 3 times the distance of a standard fucking triathlon.
Even a half Ironman.
Right. Yeah, straight up, even a half Ironman. So this is an insane thing to do. You're sprinting the entire time. That's the way it feels. You're sprinting the entire fucking time because you have to do it in a time limit.
Yeah.
When you're doing an Ironman, you can't fucking.
What is it, like 15 hours?
It's something like 15 hours. Yeah. So yeah, you got to get it done, and each thing will close. If you don't make the time limit, then you can't move to the next section. Yeah. So you really got it. So there is a time limit. So you just feel like you're sprinting the whole time. And I had never swam before, by the way, done laps or anything before I started. I did 9 months of swimming. About 4 days to get ready for that. So yes, to your point, dude, you have to do it because, dude, it is a completely different challenge. It's a completely different ball game, but it is like one of the most fun races. At least it's one of the most fun races I've ever done. I've done like, dude, I've done Spartans. I've done the OCR. I've done the OCR stuff. NORAM, the World Championship. I've done actually some of my favorite OCR races are actually the Savage races. What do you think about the other races?
I've never run them. I've run Tough Mudder, or no, I haven't even done a Tough Mudder actually. Never, dude. It's funny. I am one of the least traveled runners that you'll meet when it comes to like the different races. Like I've done Spartan and some marathons and ultra marathons, and that's about it.
Is there any specific reason for that?
No, I do like. I like to do things I like to do things on my own, like, you know, running the Grand Canyon and doing these different things. Like this 24-hour run. It's just me. Like I'm hosting my own event, and it's only me running, and it's to raise awareness for this single parent project. And like I don't know why I kind of like to do the things by myself. I think there's more of a challenge to it because you have that race environment. That race environment is so electric and it's so much fun, and I do love it. But there's something about doing something on your own that I feel is so much more rewarding, and also like planning it and doing all of that. Like, there's so much more that has to go into it. I don't know. There's something more rewarding about it and more. It's different. It's different. I think it's the only, because I don't want to say it's more fun, but it's different. There's
a lot of when you are running these kind of distances every week for like ultra marathon running, like you have to be hyper planned on your schedule.
Yeah.
Cause you're not going to do it unless like you're really good with your schedule. Are you killer with your schedule? Do you go hard with your schedule?
No.
You just fucking do it.
Well, dude, I'm full time into my master's program right now.
Okay.
I'm doing all my clinical rotations right now. So my schedule changes every couple of weeks.
Oh, damn.
So I just run whenever I wake up super early, or I do a shitload of miles on the weekend. Yeah.
That's fucking insane, Mason. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, I'm doing my wife always tells me I'm doing too much, but yeah, I do. I'm very busy.
What are you in clinicals? What are you getting your master's for?
Dietetics. So I'll be a dietitian.
Okay.
When it's all said and done. Yeah. Right now I'm at a senior center.
Do you go hard with nutrition because you're in dietetics?
With my own nutrition at home, yeah. Like we eat a very specific diet. I don't eat meat. I don't eat dairy and eggs. I only eat fish and am vegan pretty much outside of that. I'll have goat cheese every once in a while.
Why don't you eat dairy and eggs?
A big part of it is because of commercial farming. I don't think that a lot of that stuff just isn't good for you. Milk is not good for adults. I can show you a lot of studies on that one.
Why not?
It's very inflammatory. Very inflammatory.
Milk is like cow milk?
Yes. Raw milk is the raw milk. If you can get safe, because it's actually really hard to find truly safe raw milk. But if you can get safe raw milk, that's great, because you're getting all of the enzymes and the different nutrients that actually help you digest and absorb what you're consuming. Meat, if you could eat only raw meat, great, because the raw meat has those enzymes, but the second it touches that skillet or that grill, it kills all of them. And your body has a hard time digesting it, and it causes a massive inflammatory response. And milk's that same way. So if you can get raw milk, great. Eggs, I just don't trust farming. When we get our own chickens one day, I'll eat eggs. And that's a personal thing. It's a personal thing. I don't think there's really anything wrong with eggs. You should try and buy as organic, free range, whatever as you can. But until I know what I'm feeding my chickens, I don't want to eat eggs.
Dude, I had a person that was high up in big agriculture and big pharma,
Mm-hmm.
and she opened up her own clinic, this like hydrocolonic therapy, which basically, and this is gonna sound crazy.
It sounds like water in your colon.
Yeah, it's basically you taking a power washer and just going up your ass and just power washing your fucking colon and all that shit. But basically the reason why she opened up this clinic is because like she was in big pharma and big ag. And like she was talking about this on the podcast, she was talking about how like a high executive, like she was in the executive side of things. Like in pharma, it was regulating new medications. So the regulation process of like how they create new pharmaceuticals is so interesting, and the agriculture. And these two work together, by the way. And because she had so many connections with big ag, like she started working in big ag and doing like things with like Monsanto and shit. And she got out of that because all of that was totally fucked. And she was talking about how like the soil right now, like worldwide, the soil is completely fucked. And what they have to do to the plants to get the plants to grow in the soil is fucking with the biology of the plants.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
Everything we're eating is killing us.
It's insane.
So eat less of the foods that kill you more.
Yeah, dude. You know that's what's crazy is what she was saying is like dude, eat a whole fresh diet. You're not getting away from it. That's like, you know what I mean? Like eat a whole fresh diet. Even some of these organic plants nowadays, it's like she's saying like that. Just because it's almost impossible to get the yield. Like basically what happens is the plants go, or what she says is, because I don't know fuck, but just what she was saying is that these plants, they're like 10 times, they spend 10 times like less, they spend 10x less time in the ground as like a regular plant. Yeah. So they don't absorb the same nutrients. So they don't have the same density and nutrients, but they grow.
Well, you also have to harvest them before they're ripe so that it can get to the grocery store.
Right. And so she's explaining all this stuff, and it's so difficult. So it's like you're eating these vegetables and plants, and you're thinking this is healthy, and then you're still deficient in vitamins and minerals.
Do you want to know a little hack to that?
Tell me.
Buy frozen.
So
the reason that frozen vegetables and frozen fruit exist is because these companies were basically losing money on ripe fruits and vegetables because you can't ship it out of the store. 2 weeks later, it's moldy. So they flash freeze them. So all the most of the nutrients are there.
That's fucking amazing.
So buy frozen.
That's great. I'm gonna dude, Trey, write this down. We're cutting that. We're putting it up because that's gold, folks. Buy frozen. Look, I'm telling you, because I fundamentally, this is what I tell people. I'm like, look, you're fucked.
Yeah.
I just went in September last year. I went to Italy to run that Ironman. I was in Italy for 18 days. You can't eat like an American. You cannot eat in a
I want to move to
American.
Europe so bad just for the food.
Dude, you can't eat like an American. You can try. You might find something. It'll be hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
You are not going to eat like an American. You can go into a McDonald's and like hope that you're going to get a McDonald's, but like you go to a McDonald's and here's the thing, dude. I was dying after that Ironman because I had bunked so fucking bad and I still finished.
Yeah.
That I just pushed myself to the absolute max, and then when I was done, like my body would not absorb. It was not absorbing.
I don't even think I ate after my whiskey basin run. I had like half a slice of pizza and then I passed out and cut my face open on the banister.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
Really? You like fell down?
Oh, I fully fell over. Yeah,
You fell
I
over.
broke a pitcher on the wall. I feel so bad about it actually, but yeah, no, I full blown. I thought I was gonna throw up, so I started walking to the bathroom and I just got up so fast that I think it was because I stood up so fast and I was going and then just boom.
Yeah, dude.
And I smacked my face and I cut my cheek and
Oh, dude. Well, fuck. Like that'll happen, man. Were you back up right away, or were you like, I'm just gonna kick it here?
I don't know. Can you elaborate?
You were down for a while.
You were
And
down
I
for-
stayed up with you most of the night because I was afraid you got a concussion.
There you go.
You were down. Well, just so that the audience can hear, because I don't think they'll get that. Is you were down for a while? What'd you say? You were down for. He was
How
down
long
for a
do you
while?
think I was down for? I have no idea.
Well, you were only out for a couple seconds and then you woke back up, but you were staying down for
Yeah.
a few minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're down for a couple seconds, dude. At the end of that race, there's like a place where the racers go, and like no one can come in. You go into this place, and dude, there are like medical people there ready.
Oh yeah.
And like there's so many people. This is what's happening to so many people. They've got like some medical people around them. They just finished the Ironman. They sit down, and they're just kind of sitting there. And by the way, the folks that are like helping these people, like if you're like cramping up or something, dealing with a lot of pain or whatever, like they give you like an alcohol. They're like, drink a beer.
Yeah.
And like these folks like are falling over. So I'm sitting there eating, like I can't remember what it was. I think it was just like one of those like block pieces of pizza. It was no good.
Yeah.
But when I'm eating that and drinking a beer, was trying to not die, and this guy like right next to me just like falls back, just straight off the fucking chair, like just, and that happened to multiple people.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's like this line of garbage cans, and I was like, that's a lot of garbage cans. I didn't think about it, but then as you like sit there for a second, you realize that this is where everyone goes to puke.
Dude, it was actually funny when I finished. So DFL before DNF, dead fucking last before you quit.
Yeah.
I was the last person to finish because I came in with seconds until the cutoff. When I ran that ultra, there was only one other person behind me, and they didn't finish. And then there were obviously people who dropped along the way, but I was the last person to cross the finish line, and no one was there. Everything was taken down because it's seconds. And so I remember when I walked straight to the medical tent, because I walked straight to the medical tent. No one was in there. They were like packing up. I'm like, can I get some ice? And they gave me ice, and then I got in the car and we drove home.
Oh fuck yeah, dude!
Yeah.
That's how your fucking first ultra should end. You know, dude, like that's how your whole first ultra should go. I feel, but that's how you learn from that experience. Though.
You really do.
Like that's how you know.
You
how
learn
to
more about yourself than you do about how to actually run.
Why is that?
When you're in that much pain, you have to dig into the deepest parts of your mind in order to, even with the support of everyone around you, you can't do that stuff without digging to the absolute deepest parts of your mind to finish. You learn so much about yourself. I believe that I'm a completely different person now than I was 2 weeks before that run. I think that run completely changed my brain chemistry. I think that it's what's now allowed me to do and want to do these insane things since then. Because it's completely changed my mind. And even Sarah and I have talked about this stuff. Like, I am a completely different person than I was. And for good or for worse, or for better or for worse, I don't actually know. I think it's for better. But I'm a completely different person.
Yeah, dude. You're saying like for better or for worse. Dude, you believe better. How do you think? How better?
I think that I'm just more resilient. And I think that I have my past that's built resilience, but I think that this run unlocked something that you can't unlock without doing something like this. It's not like I've been in the darkest the darkest of dark, and like with mental health and, you know, my upbringing and all these different things, but you can't unlock these certain parts of your brain without doing shit like ultra marathons. And I'm sure there's other things that can do it, but you have to push yourself to your limit and then 10 times past that.
Is there something like, is that like some of the motivation, and we should get into this? So the single parent project, you're doing this fucking run across the United States in a couple years. You have a couple years of planning yet.
Yes, it's in 2 years. April 2nd, 2026 is the goal start date.
And how many miles are you going to cover? I know it's like on your shirt, but
yeah, 3,434. That's why it's called Project 3434. 3,434 miles. It's going to change for sure because routes change. There could be a road closure. There could be a bear. I don't know.
It's all the trails you're going to be doing.
Yeah, it's all the roads. I've already had to change my route. I talked with there's this guy who just ran. So he allows me to make the claim first person to run from Seattle to Miami. I'm still going to give him the credit for Seattle to Miami. He actually ran from Bain, Washington, which is the corner of Washington where Canada is, to Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm still giving him because I spent months trying to find someone who's run from Seattle to Miami. I didn't want to make this claim. It just kind of happened. So I'm going to be one of the first people to run from Seattle to Miami. But I talked with him, and he was giving me a bunch of information and a bunch of different things. And he already changed my route to avoid a specific Indian reservation that he was told by the local police to avoid.
Why avoid it?
I guess it's a very poor area. It's Crow country. It's the Crow reservation. I guess just because of where it's located, there's not a big city within like 500 or 600 miles. And so they just don't have a lot of resources. It's an Indian reservation. So unfortunately they don't get the resources that they need to begin with. And so it's just led to it not being very safe. And so I don't want to put I'm not worried about myself. I'm worried about my crew. I'm worried about the people that are with me. I don't want anybody around me to get anything to happen. I also don't want my RV broken into. Like, I don't want any of these things. I don't want anything bad to happen. And so it's better to just avoid it if I've been told to avoid it.
Mason, you should go through that fucking... You should go through, dude. You go through that bitch.
I also just like, you know, I want to respect Native American land.
That's different, yeah.
And
That's
and so like if the locals are saying don't go through there. Then
the locals are saying that.
Yeah, you're getting it from the local police. And
you're getting
the travel police. This is what he was telling me that they told him. And if they're saying that, then I'm going to respect their land. And
yeah. That's it. Yeah, I thought it was just a matter of safety. I was like, dude, get out there and get after it, bro.
It's a mix, and I'm sure that's part of the reason why it's not as safe is because you are using their land for personal purposes. Like, I'm running across America, I'm using their land, and so I don't want to disrespect their land because Native American land is sacred, and so I don't want to disrespect that, and so I'm just going to go around it.
Yeah, no doubt. That makes sense. I thought you were just saying like somebody was like, look, that's an unsafe area.
No, it's a mix. It's a mix of things.
It's like this guy. Do you follow that guy? I can't remember his name. It's what's his name? He's running the entire length of Africa.
Oh yes,
you got to be watching this guy.
Yes. Oh, he got stuck in Albania on the border of Albania for like a month.
Yeah, dude, this guy has been just
300 and he's at 3. He only has like 20 days.
I know
left.
he's only got 20 days. This guy's just been running like 60 miles a day for the fucking last year. Dudes that got pirates like on the roads stealing their minivan and their equipment. He's getting like kidnapped and brought into the jungle. Like he's like running on no roads in the Sahara. This dude is just, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Never. I like the adrenaline, but I by no means am an adrenaline junkie, so no.
No, dude, I would do that. But the problem is it's not every day that you meet like a guy who can fund that, because that's kind of the story, right? He's like, I got a guy who, that's the story, right? Like, he met a guy who funded it. It was like, dude, you do this, I'll fucking fund it. If somebody said that to me, right now, if this reaches the ears of somebody who can fund 1 year of running, where you'd fucking choose. You choose the place.
If someone wants to pay for my run across America too, please.
No, and actually, not just that. Yeah, you're gonna have to fund my buddy Mason. He's gonna be doing it before me. So like, make sure that you fucking fund him too. Because like, look, here's the thing, dude. You gotta fund us doing these runs. Somebody's gotta fund us doing.
Yeah,
these
runs. It's the big part of it is sponsorships. You know, you gotta, like, my wife and I are I'm planning on my car being a van for 2 years.
Yeah.
So that I have a crew van. And then, we're looking into buying a truck and a trailer or an RV and having that be we are planning our lives around. I don't know why she's allowing me to do this.
Yeah, 69 days. This is very irresponsible of you.
Oh, very. It's extremely irresponsible of me. But we're planning our lives around this.
It's amazing.
So you really do sponsors are necessary and these different things are necessary for these things to happen. And I don't think people like Paul Johnson. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm sure you've seen him running across America right now.
Oh, no. What's that?
So Paul Johnson set out to set the world record. He was going to do it in 40 days. People are giving him a lot of shit because he quit pretty early, but
he quit.
He's still running. He quit the world record. Yeah. He's still going. He's still going strong. He was having nutrient intake issues early, and he saw that it was going to end really bad, and he wouldn't have ever been able to finish, and so he ended early. But he his thing that he's doing easily costs $100,000.
Yeah.
Easily, but he has goreware. I think your hat's goreware.
You got goreware going?
Yeah, he's got a goreware hat on. So it's a massive company that just paid for a huge portion of it. And then he also has a couple other sponsorships here and there. And so you really do have to have if you want to do something that big and that complex, you do have to have these massive corporate sponsors.
Yeah, it is extremely expensive. How many? There's no doubt. There's this guy Louis Shakes. Shout out Louis Shakes. He broke the world record. He was on when we were doing Instagram Live, the Big Fitness Live talks before we did the podcast. Yeah. He was on. I had him back on, but we never got the audio before he ended up finishing it. So it was before. In case, long story short, this guy did it. I met with him out in Columbus, Ohio. We did something 80 miles on fucking skates. It was the first. I literally bought a pair of skates and drove 6 hours to make them.
Rollerblades?
Rollerblades. So he broke the world record for inline skating on rollerblades from it was LA to Times Square in New York City. And I met him for one of those days, dude. He was super sunburned as fuck, but he had he did have some really fucking interesting stories about the United States. Covering the whole length of the United States. Mm-hmm. You're gonna get a perspective, I guess. I've done it in a car, but it's gonna be a little different when you have time to really absorb the land.
Yeah.
There's really not a lot out here. It seems like there is a lot. It seems like there's a lot of congestion of people everywhere, and it's first world. Most of this bitch is unmanaged, just road that just goes for 40 fucking miles, 50 miles, 60 miles, nothing around.
Yeah. I mean, when you really look at the landscape of America, I can't wait to see this, and I'm going the most unorthodox route you can go. It's the longest way you can go besides maybe San Diego to Maine. But I'm truly covering the United States. I'm going across the LA to New York. Yes, it's across the United States, and I'm not discounting this by any means.
Well, it's also on rollerblades. You pussy. That's if Louis. I'm just kidding, Louis. You're.
But you get, and I mean, LA to New York's the most common route. But you're covering so much of it is the same landscape. But going from Seattle to Miami, I'm going to be going from Seattle, which is the woodlands, to the Rocky Mountains through Montana, to the mountainous plains of Wyoming, through the Midwest, running through this flatlands into the swampy South. And it's there's nowhere else on the planet that is one landmass that has all of that. Even Russia. Russia's just a giant ass forest. They don't have the United States is such a unique landscape that nowhere else in the world has.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
Dude, and why single parent project? Why is that what you're doing it for?
So Single Parent Project, a little background. They are a foundation in Utah, and they support single parents. They help single parents. I mean, anybody who has a single mom or single dad understands how hard they work. And given the climate of the world right now in the United States, it's very hard to live even in a dual income household with kids, even without kids. And so it's, to just buy groceries. They'll help them just buy groceries. For me, I give, huge kudos. Like, I was lucky enough to live where I lived. My best friend's dad, who was a huge father figure in my life, he paid for a lot of my sports growing up. And extracurriculars are huge for kids. They pay for the kids' extracurriculars. They help set up college funds. They help pay for, Utah doesn't have a huge issue with crime and different things, but there are some not great areas. And so they help these kids get into safer schools and pay for these like charter schools and some private schools depending. And so they're helping these parents survive. And I watched my mom work several jobs, and I watched how much she sacrificed just so me and my brother were safe. And there's no way to give back to that. And it's not like my mom's asking for me to give back. And none of these parents, these moms especially, are asking for someone to give back to them. And I want to be able to give something back to these parents who, like, each step that I take is only a fraction of how hard they work every day to make sure that their kids are happy, healthy, and safe. And so every step that I take, I want to make sure I want to give back to these families. And so that's why I partnered with the Single Parent Project. They're a newer foundation. And I also was lucky enough that we didn't have to use a women's shelter. We had supports. We had just enough support to help us get through. We had our different trials, and were poor plenty of times and had to get help from family, but we had help from family. Imagine if you didn't have the help from family. And I know your story, like, you have a crazy story yourself, and like, not having those supports and not having that help makes it so much more difficult. And that's what the Single Parent Project does, is it helps them. And I want to raise funds for these guys because I want to be able to give back. And no one's asking, and I feel like I need to for my mom.
Yeah, dude, this is interesting. So, like, what were you doing when you were like, dude, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run across the United States.
I was probably just sitting on my couch. I've been thinking about it for a few years for myself. Like, I was just like, I want to fucking do this. But I was like, there's something different, a 100-mile race. Anybody can strap on their shoes and go run 100 miles. Fuck, David Goggins ran 100 miles untrained.
Yeah.
Anybody can run 100 miles.
And I think
you might not think you can, but you can.
Yeah.
Now imagine, and 50 miles. Anybody can run 50 miles. But now imagine you've been running 50 miles every day for 40 days. What are you going to tap into at that point? It can't be just for yourself. It has to be for something else. And so I told myself, I was like, there's got to be a greater good behind this for me to be able to do this, because I'm not going to be able to push myself to do this. It's just, it takes a whole other level of pushing yourself to do this. There has to be something else for it. So, I basically just was like, if it comes to be that something quote unquote falls into my lap that, like, this is what I want to do it for, then I'll do it. And I don't know what it was. I just was like, fuck, I want to give back to single parents. My mom's done so much for me, and I don't ever know how to give back to her. And I think this is how I do it. And so it just happened. And then I asked my wife, I was like, what do you want to do before we have kids? And she's like, I don't know. And we talked about that for a minute. And then she's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to run across America. Can we do that? She's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, dude.
And that's just kind of how it happened.
That's amazing, dude. Fuck yeah. And I love that story, and I love why you're doing it, dude, 100%, because absolutely, man. Look, I don't know how to take care of like a hamster, Yeah. If you have a hamster, you're having a hard time. A single parent of a hamster, let's say, is having a hard time.
Yeah.
And so, like,
now imagine you have 3 kids.
Now imagine you have 3 kids, all boys.
Oh no, it was just 2. It was just me and my brother.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just me and my brother. And there's so much, like, this goes so deep. All of my aunts were single moms. And I don't know if it's all of the women in my family had poor choice in men, or the men all sucked. But
like in the area?
I'm just making fun of my aunts, but and my mom. But all my aunts were single moms. And my mom obviously was a single mom. My dad is now a single dad. He has a little 4-year-old running around, and he's a single dad. And so there's so many single parents in my life. And then I also, like, some of our best friends have single moms that help, that were a huge part of mine and Sarah's childhood. Sarah's mom was a single mom. She got remarried when Sarah was younger. And so she had a father figure in the home, but still had a single mom for a huge part of her childhood. Some of her aunts were single moms. Like, so many women and men in my life have been single parents. And so it's such, like, I didn't realize how many people were like, I don't know how the fuck they did it. I really don't know how they did it. And this is why, like, our whole saying is define impossible, because I don't know how the fuck they did it, and I don't know how the fuck I'm going to run across America.
Define impossible.
Define impossible. That's our kind of slogan that we've set for the run across America, is let's define impossible. Like, let's push the boundaries and show how capable we are as people, because the single parents are already defining impossible, or they're defying the odds every day, and they define impossible every day that they wake up and every night that they go to bed. And so we're just going to do it in a different realm.
What did, like, obviously this means a lot to you, like, and when you were growing up, when did you know, like, when did this affect you, where you're like, oh shit?
Young.
Like,
I you know, my wife and I have talked, I don't really have an inner child. And it's something that we've talked about, and it's just, I had to grow up really fast. And it's not something I want to take back either. I'm very, very grateful for, as crazy as it sounds, I'm grateful for all the shit that happened. And I knew very early, very, very early, 5-6 years old, I understood, what was going on. I maybe didn't understand that we were living on food stamps. I maybe didn't understand these things, but I did understand that I have a single mom. We have no money. You know, like, my dad's in prison. Like, I understood.
Dad was in prison.
Yeah.
That's why you were.
Yeah. My mom and dad got divorced after he went to prison. And then my stepdad, my mom got remarried, and my stepdad died when I was 10. And so, you know, right back to it kind of thing. And so, like, you know, I had to experience it twice, basically, where I understood it, and then I really got it when I was 10. And so, yeah, it very, very early on.
What kind of challenges do you deal with as a 10-year-old and one parent?
I mean, I think a lot of it is personal stuff. You're not old enough to really have to, you know, deal with budgeting. You're not, you know, all the other life stressors. You're kind of just dealing with your own bullshit in your head. You know, I was at the smart kid school. I was in the smart kid classes. Like, I don't know what the fuck any of the reading above your grade level shit even matters, but, like, you know, I was reading at a college level in, you know, 2nd grade, and like, I was a really, really smart kid, and excelled in all of that. And then my stepdad died, and I went from reading at a college level in 5th grade to reading at a 2nd grade level in 5th grade. My brain, like, turned off, and there's so much of my childhood I actually don't remember. It's like black, just because it was so much that you just don't remember a lot of it. I'm sure you have moments like that from your childhood, and I'm sure anybody listening to this has had those moments in their life, and you really just are trying to battle yourself. And I think that's why it translates so well to ultra running, because that's all ultra running is battling with yourself every step. And that's all you're doing, though, is battling all the different things that are going on in your head and trying to make sense of what life is. And I think that is what dove me into my depressive episodes. And, you know, I haven't actually been very open about this, but I've had one moment where I sat in front of a closet and thought about killing myself. I knew there was a gun in the closet. One moment in my life, and that was also a big turning point for me. And, you know, these different
things. When was that?
This is when I was 18. It was just me and my buddy living in an apartment, and he was out of town. And again, single mom, no money, and I moved out and I had no money, and I was still dealing with all this stuff. Like, I'd never processed my dad going to prison. I'd never processed my stepdad's death. I'd never processed all the other stuff that happened in between. And it just, me trying to figure this shit out and battling, it just got too much. And I just didn't want to deal with it anymore.
Damn, dude. Was it something? Was it like a trigger? Like that you were? It was just like the intensity of being alone. You think?
Dude, it's actually kind of a funny story. When I look back on it,
this moment is a funny story.
it really is. Like
Dude.
when I look back at the moment when I almost ended my own life, it really does. It really is kind of a funny story. My phone charger broke.
Dude,
my phone charger broke. There's a couple defining things with this. I remember I hadn't eaten all day, and I had 52 cents in my bank account. I will never forget that number. I had 52 cents in my bank account. I couldn't go buy food. I actually stole food that day. I've had to steal food a couple of times. I stole food from the grocery store that was across the street, and I already asked my mom for some money earlier that week to get food, and I couldn't ask her again. I could, obviously, but I just felt like, again, the single mom stuff. I was like, I can't ask my mom for more money. And I remember I plugged my phone in to go to bed that night, and it didn't work. And I was like, fuck this. And it just sent me into a spiral. So it really, I kind of laugh at it now because it really is so funny that it's as simple as a fucking phone charger that just tipped the scale. Obviously I was already there, but it just tipped the scale. But it also was a huge moment because it was 2 hours. It felt like a lifetime, but it was 2 hours. I knew where the gun was. I sat there and I stared for 2 hours. And
what was going through your head?
I knew that I didn't want to, but everything was telling me to do it.
What's everything like?
All of everything in my head was telling me to do it. Was telling me to end my life. But I knew deep down, I was like, I don't want to do this. Like my wife and I have been married. We weren't married at the time, but we've been dating for so long. And I was like, I have Sarah, I have my mom, like I have all these people that maybe don't depend on me, but like I care about them and I want to make sure that I'm around to take care of them later. Try not to cry.
Don't fuck yeah, dude.
But
that's real. Yeah,
I was like, I want to be able to give back to the people who have always taken care of me. And that kind of is what stopped it, I think, was not wanting to, I wanted to be there for the people I cared about.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, I'm happy you're still here, dude. No fucking drink to that.
I'm very happy I'm still here as well.
Do you want another one?
I'm okay, thank you.
Dude, gotcha. Dude,
but
good shit, man. Fuck yeah. Hey, man, thank you for sharing it.
Yeah.
Dude, no, man, that's fucking real. That's the fucking shit. That's why we're running why we're running, dude.
Well,
we're figuring this shit out.
It's funny because, it's the first, this moment right now is a kind of a revelation because it ties to what we're doing now, where it's like, I wanted to be here to give back and to support and love the people. And this is how I feel I can do it now. And that moment is, I think, the reason that I have pursued all of this stuff to begin with, because it was a moment, like anybody who's been in those headspaces understands how you feel like it's never ever going to end. And this is why all ultra runners are fucked up, because when you're that deep in the pain cave, it feels like it's never going to end. And it feels like if you just quit, and quit can mean a lot of different things. With depression, we just talked about all this, and you can just quit and be done. And you don't have to deal with it anymore. You don't have to experience the pain anymore. But if you continue to push and you just trust that you just take that next step, and you take that next step, and you continue to just take one more step, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There is. And this is a metaphor and an actual truth. On my jacket that I was telling you that I made for myself, on the inside, it has a quote on the inside of the hood that says, "One more step."
What's the jacket?
It's a jacket for the Run Across America. It has like our whole thing on it, but I have a bunch of shit all over it that is for different, like I have down the entire left sleeve, I have names of people who have inspired this run or inspired different things in my life. On the inside of the hood, I have the Viking compass to never lead me astray. On the other inside, I have a quest marker from Skyrim, the video game. And with that, it has the quote that says one more step. And the whole meaning of it is that the quest is here and now. Every step is the quest. And you just got to take that next one and that next one and that next one and continue to take that next step. Because if you continue to move forward, you're going to achieve what you're trying to achieve.
Every step is the quest.
Yeah.
I fucking love that. Every step is the quest. The way that I sort of think about it, like people say, like, why, like you said, you're running towards something. You're clearly running towards something.
Yes.
And
it started running away from something and turned into running towards something.
Yeah. There are people that do run away. And you might be running away until for some reason you found something that was profound and changed the direction of your life, dude. The way that I sort of illustrate this is that there's a long hallway of locked doors, dude. And and it goes on forever, nonstop. All the way down, and it's behind all these doors are like what different things that make you who you are and what you are. And every step you take through the pain cave, which is like immense pain. It's like pain that's like it's deep self-induced pain with the intention of bettering yourself, and you get a sense of clarity and understanding the architecture of your mind in a way that I don't know you can really figure out any other way to do that. There's nothing that forces you to dig so deep inside your brain than to put yourself into that kind of space where the only thing that brings you into the next step is to unlock and open the next door to see what is in store. And eventually some of these doors, when you open them up, they're long staircases down into a dark cellar, dude, where you hear monster breathing. Yeah. And now the journey is downward to figure out what that monster looks like, so that when it fucking pokes its ugly head up in your life, it doesn't affect you in the way that it has been before you did the fucking quest. Yeah.
Everyone should run an ultra marathon because of that. That's everything that you're saying. I like we just talked about my mental health and like how I was as low as you could go without pulling the trigger. I was as low as I could go. And there's nothing that matches an ultra marathon. That like I don't think you can experience and unlock certain things in your brain without running an ultra marathon. I think everyone should try, even if it's 26.4. Everyone should set out to run an ultra marathon to experience everything that you just said.
Dude, it is profound. It will change your life for sure. And here's the thing: don't quit. Don't quit.
Dead fucking last before you quit.
Yeah, you don't have to win. You don't have to come in first place. Fuck.
That's why I love ultra marathons, because it doesn't fucking matter as long as you finish.
Like, you will change your life in this experience. Keep one thing in mind: you're doing this to better yourself. Yeah, that's important, because if you hate yourself, this is the people who are running away. Mm-hmm. They're running away from.
Just from my experience, like those people don't finish. They're usually the ones that will quit during ultra marathons, and it's okay if you have to DNF. We've all experienced it at some point. But if you're running away from something, odds are you're not, because you have to be able to dig. And if you're running away, and maybe in the ultra marathon you discover that you can run towards something, and maybe that's what unlocks it. But you have to run. You can't be running away from something.
You can't be running away from. This is something. It's hard for me to explain this to people, about the running, because they think it's a mental disorder. They think it's like something wrong with me. Mm-mm. I fundamentally believe that this is like the thing that I do, that I can do, that we do, mm-hmm. To inspire others to better themselves. That helps us. That helps them. And like, dude, mental health. Dude, look, you're gonna have to be able to navigate a weird world in the future. Yeah. Because, like, dude, the internet is clearly terrible for your mind. It's clear. If it's not AI fucking with you, it's like shit's just being shoved into your face. Like, you need to be mentally resilient. You need to be mentally resilient. If you're mentally soft and you're like just taking a walk down Instagram, you're fucked. Yeah. Because it's just going to be like, oh man, I'm not this. This person's like half my age and they have a fucking Bugatti. And you're just comparison after comparison after comparison. And it's horrible. It's like it's every time you jump on that fucking app, it's like taking a fucking hammer to your kneecap every time you swipe to the next post. Yes. Hey, what is another thing I can hate myself for because that's not me? Boom. Boom. Yep. Boom. Boom. Boom.
I do think though that it can be inspiring.
Okay.
Because look, I will say, like, so William Gouge last year became the fastest European to run across America, 55 days. he is who reignited the flame of like, you can fucking do this. So I will say it can be very inspiring. You have to follow the right people though. You can't just sit there and swipe through a For You page forever and expect to be inspired. Like you have to put in effort. Nothing in life just comes to you. You have to put in effort. And this goes into social media too. Like you can't just hope that the right post appears. You have to search out for the people on social media that you want to influence you. Whether it's running, whether it's fucking book talk, it doesn't matter. You have to find those. You have to put in the effort. Everything in life requires effort. Nothing gets handed to you.
It's very much like the awareness of and the I guess like the intention. Like you have to be intentional. Like if you go on my Instagram feed right now, it basically is just like David Goggins and fucking and Jocko Willing just saying get after it. Let's go. Like if I need some motivation, I open up my Instagram, like literally, like that's it. Like it'll, it's just, and it's all just people on a podcast just being like, look, motherfucker, you got this, you can do it, dude. You just have to believe. And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, let's fucking go. And like, so to your point, it's like this thing is gonna feed you what you're asking it for. Yeah. Like it's not intentional. It's not like I'm gonna send a bunch of garbage to you to fuck you up. It's like there's infinite content of every kind. If
you engage with the garbage, it'll give you more garbage.
It'll give you more garbage. So like you have to, this is all, it comes back to awareness. I'm not demonizing the thing. The thing can be dangerous. And if you're younger, that's going to be difficult.
No one under the age of 16 should use social media.
Do you know what, dude? You should open up the app, like everyone. And you should see the same label that's on like a pack of cigarettes every time. And you should have to get rid of the
same with, I think that for so many things, we won't dive into that.
right. No doubt, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like it should be like, look, Surgeon General, but instead of, it's like psychoanalyst, they say, the American Psychoanalyst Association of fucking whatever that's important and knows that this is bad for you, says that fuck right off if you can. But set your intention of, I want to benefit from this thing and it will be better. It's like self-induced. I've mentioned this a few times. So if you've heard this before and you listen to the podcast, you're going to listen to it again. Cause this is important, especially for this, is that, the people that say, like, oh, why are you running so much? You're putting yourself through all this pain. Were you some kind of masochist? It's like, look, here's the thing. There's a good book and it's called The Power of Moments. And at the end of that book, it talks about post-traumatic growth. And basically the science of this is basically after the age of 26, it's very unlikely you change your behavior without some form of trauma. And there's self-induced trauma and then there's non-self-induced trauma. So for example, like non-self-induced trauma would be like you're driving a car and then boom, you get hit. Your whole family dies but you, and now you've got to live with this thing. You didn't choose this trauma. It's like almost impossible to fathom the amount of pain you're about to go through. Yeah. And two types of people come out of this, and it's based on perspective alone. So you both have perceived both directions, you perceive the same thing. You perceive the same situation. Here's the fucking magic in perspective. Perspective is not perception. Perception is the raw information. We can't do anything about that. Like you can't do anything about changing the way that you feel about something. You can't change the way that the sensation, the information, what you see, what you hear. There's going to be no changing that. You can't do anything with that. Can't control that. What comes in. Then there's perspective. You can bend that. The magic of perspective is really the key. So they see that like. So this is going to change this dude's life. He was driving a car, lost his family, drunk driver. That motherfucker starts drinking, and basically it's something like 80% of people will go that route. Something like 80-85%. Most people will go that route. They'll just start drinking themselves into oblivion, and then they'll end up, just like everything's fucked. Yeah. And then there's this other side that's like that event like basically shot them into the most success they could have ever possibly imagined. And the thing was, they took that perception, they took that event, and they bended it with their perspective of, I'm going to do everything in my power for the rest of my life to make sure that no one has to deal with the pain that I just dealt with. Yeah. All the shit you just dealt with, all the stuff that you've gone through, I'm going to fucking take my perspective and fucking run across the United States and send a message so that this is that there's awareness around this. That's that person. Took that trauma, used that trauma. Now, I think anyone would say that they would take it back, get their family back. I'll take the no success for the family. That's obviously, but we can't do that. We have no control over what comes in. We have no control over the past. So it's not important. That's not relevant. To think what would happen if I could take that back. Yeah. It's like you're going to live now and you're going to live forward. So that's that, right? So that's what happens when you have non-self-induced I get what you're saying. Yeah. Self-induced.
Yeah, non-self-induced trauma.
Yeah. Now we go self-induced trauma, which is I'm going to go do an ultra marathon. I'm going to go do an ultra marathon. Okay, good to go. Same thing. I'm going to go put myself through, because I feel like I don't know fuck and I'm lost. I'm going to go put myself through something fucking nuts. And I'm going to see if I can make it through. You start to experience what you know is like extreme pain. Yeah. And you continue to push yourself through that, and you navigate your mind and find whatever is there, whatever tool you can find to keep yourself moving forward. The clarity that comes out is unbelievable. But like, two types of situations here. One, the perspective of this thing is going to make me better, and so you search for what will make you better during that extreme trauma, and then afterwards you're a way better human being afterwards. But then there's the other side of that perception, that event, and that is the perspective of this thing is going to make me better. And then it will more often than not make you better. But it's important that you first set the perspective, because if you go in there to run away from something and it really is that, then you won't get much out of that run except for more pain. And that's what you're looking for, is just to put yourself through more pain. So people aren't totally wrong, but the thing is that you have to understand this whole thing is in your fucking head.
All mental.
End of story. So, dude, when you do this thing through the whole United States, you're going to go from fucking one side of the United States to the other. As you're going through, are you going to be doing like different types of stuff while you're running to like spread this word?
Yeah. I mean, we'll do, the typical stuff. We'll try and get on the news. We'll try and do all those different things. Social media is a part of it now. And just like, I mean, it's mainly like, and then along the way, we're going to try and reach out and find families, single parents along the way. And I'm trying to work with different companies right now. I'm in contact with a few of trying to find a way to give to these single parents. Could be socks, could be whatever. But just to get the community involved along the way and working with single parents along the way. And then obviously to raise funds for the single parent project. My goal is to raise $100,000 by the end of all of this. And to raise funds for these guys.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, man, I know we don't got much time left. I don't want to. 7:20 is the deadline.
Around there. We can keep talking.
All right, got you. Yeah, because like I know we got all mixed up, and I was like, dude, I would probably end up just talking to you till like midnight. We'll just
I could be here forever.
We'll just be fucking.
I don't know if the people want that.
I don't know if the people want that. Yeah. Dude, good shit. So like, so what do you think's gonna happen? What do you think's gonna happen in your mind? What do you think the outcome's gonna be of this thing? What's your projection of what you are gonna personally endure / like you are going to find maybe become maybe?
It is gonna sound weird, but I don't care. I'm not doing this for me. Obviously, I am. Obviously, I want the accomplishment of running across America. I want that accomplishment. And like that, that's part of it. But this is everything that we've talked about. Like this is running is how I express. Running for me is an expression. And so it's the way that I can give back. And so that's what I'm hoping to do, is give back and raise money for these single parents and show that even when you come from a broken home and you have a broken mind, that you can escape. Even when everybody in your life tells you, or not everybody, but a lot of people in your life tell you that you're going to be a failure, that you'll amount to nothing. I had teachers in front of a whole class tell me that I was going to be a failure in life. And like, you have, like, and it statistically, I should be. Statistically, I like where I fall on the stat line, only about 10% of people escape. You're very close. You're a little bit above that stat line, but like you're like when I mean like even less people escape from the past that you've explained to me. And like, I want to show that you can, that you don't let people tell you that you can't. And I just want to show my 8-year-old self that everything that we've done is okay. And then I want to show of other kids and other parents that there's an end to all of it. And it's a positive end.
Dude, I always wonder, I always think deeply on like why, and I'm not saying that I'm just super successful, but to your point, like what was it that caused me to change the direction? What do you think it was that caused you to be like, man, you know what? Like I'm going to do this. I can do this. Like I can do this. I believe. What do you think it is that caused you to believe?
I've never been able to figure it out. To be completely honest, I don't want to give a bullshit answer. Like I've tried thinking about the different, like how, why, and I think part of it is some people are born with it and some people aren't. I do think that some people, it's just unfortunate, just like how someone gets born with, cerebral palsy or something. Like I think that there is a part of it that you're born with. And I think another part of it is you just have to continue to experience shit until something just clicks.
Yeah, I do think it's like, I mean, obviously we don't know how anybody else perceives this world but ourselves. But I mean, sometimes I'm like, you see the jokes about like the NPCs.
Yes.
And I'm seriously like, some of this stuff I'm like, a brain can do that.
Yeah.
A brain can be like that. A person can be like this, like shouting at the fucking sky, just like yelling at their demons, talking to a lighter, like that, somebody did something to them, XYZ, like literally talking to their demons, man. And I always wonder, I'm like, damn, what the fuck is this whole thing? Why is it that should be me? Or that could be me.
I think a lot of it comes down to not feeling sorry for yourself. Like stop feeling sorry for yourself as maybe insensitive as that can be. Like there's a part of it where you just gotta stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it comes down to that. When you're in the depths of mental health, it has nothing to do with that. But so many people, it's just stop feeling sorry for yourself and go do something.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, go read a book or go for a run. Whatever it is, like you just gotta stop feeling sorry for yourself. And then again, going back to like, I remember like with my teacher, when my teacher told me that, I was like,
why did your what the fuck this teacher, by the way?
Dude, it was my 8th grade English teacher in front of the whole class told me that I was going to be a failure and amount to nothing in front of the whole class.
What'd you do?
Probably talking. I was probably just talking when I shouldn't be. I mean, I was a rambunctious kid, but I was probably just talking when I wasn't supposed to. And then she told me that. And I don't remember exactly what I said to her. I got suspended, whatever I said to her. But I did say, like, I basically just said, oh yeah, fucking watch me then.
Yeah, straight up.
But it really is like, there's this, I think that this is where it goes back to, I think part of it is innate. And I think everybody has it. Most people have that innate ability to fight that, but you just got to unlock it. And some people already have it unlocked and then it goes away and then you got to re-unlock it. And it's an ebb and flow of life that you've got to figure out. But yeah,
it is insane because it's true. It's like, I wonder that, and I think that, maybe somebody in my life, like maybe inspired me to think about it as like, you're not a victim. There's this moment, like I'm in this house. It's a foreclosed on house. No, this is not the foreclosed on house. I'm sorry. This is a different story. I'm thinking of around here. This is all the trauma. This is my grandparents' house. Like we just got kicked out of our old house. My parents were divorced, like a complete fucking mess. My grandparents let us come to live in their house. Just this kind of like shitty fucking.
I lived with my grandparents too. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. That's like just good fun. But I'm like super young. I'm living down in this basement. The basement is unfinished. It's got like leaks and cobwebs and all the shit. And I'm laying down on Well, before that, I come home and one of my best friends, David Lule, this guy, you know, like his family, they actually were like illegal aliens when they came in. Like he was born in California, like straight up, like as Mexican as they come. My grandpa was just racist as a motherfucker. And so like I would go hang out with Dave because like he's my buddy, you know, and I came home one night and, I don't know, it was like 7 o'clock, and dude, he was like, "You're not hanging around with that fucking wetback anymore. You're fucking gonna be doing this shit." I'm like, what the fuck? By the way, he hated my fucking dad too. Our last name is Gonzalez. I found out that we're not actually Mexican. We're actually 17.5% Spanish. We have like 0 Mexican in us. My whole life, I've thought.
That's so funny.
I thought that I was Mexican. It's like people called me the Mexican. They called me Gonzo when I was like back at home.
Oh, that's funny.
Any case, not to spiral into that, but that's kind of funny. Then I come to find out it's like my real last name should be Villarreal, and it's like Spanish. Italian. It's not Mexican at all.
Funny.
I'm just like, dude, I've been living a life. Any case, I'm laying on this. I go there. He's like, "You're never going back to that fucking guy's house again. We're gonna bring you to the fucking church. We're gonna put you under the water. We're gonna hold you there. We're gonna get you fucking baptized and get all this sin off you."
Oh, dude, that's a whole other story. We grew up Mormon, and we're not Mormon anymore. And that's a whole podcast episode.
Dude, oh my god. So like that's
I have
some
all.
of that.
Oh, dude, I have all that trauma from that. Like my grandpa was in the hierarchy of the church, the Mormon church. He was in the 70. My great grandma was one of Brigham Young's wives.
Who's Brigham Young?
Brigham Young's one of the founders of the Mormon church. I have very, very deep ties, and so we're not in the Mormon church anymore, and that has caused its own plethora of issues.
Holy
Again,
shit.
That's a whole podcast episode.
Oh, damn. Dude, like, so I'm not 100%. So what are the main beliefs, like the foundational beliefs?
Pretty much Christians.
Christians?
They're just extreme Christians, I think is a good way to put it.
Okay,
like you have Baptists and evangelicals, which are one form of extreme, and I think Mormons are, and any Mormon that listens to this is going to be pissed at me, and my own family, but it's just kind of its own extreme version of Christianity. I think it's a really simple way to put it.
Yeah. Damn, dude. Yeah, I always thought it was weird. We'd like show up to random places, just like, it didn't matter where it was. It was just like an open room somewhere in the basement, and some like guy would be standing there like saying shit. We're like, where are we at right now? We're praising the fucking Lord, man, right now. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's so funny.
But like, no, dude, actually what's crazy is this is when I like started thinking like, no fucking way with all this shit, because it was Lutheran Christian that I believe we were going up in. And there's this fucking church, man, where there was this church where basically, what was it called? Midwest Cathedral, I believe. So shout out to those guys. The priest dude took off with like $2 million in like something like $2 million. Like, and they never caught this fucking guy. Basically, this church, they were like, we're gonna build this whole thing. It was like, we're gonna build this whole extra part. We're gonna praise the Lord at a mega stage, like on a mega stage, dude. And it was like, all right, good shit. So it was like, everybody needs to like double, triple down, like sell your fucking kids to fucking. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I get what you're saying.
We need the money for the church and like whatever. Good to go.
And then he ran away.
This is also me not talking shit on religion. By the way, I also think it's like, I think religion is like fundamentally useful in you coming up with morals and ethics. And like, if you don't have it, you're going to be totally lost. Like I still hold true to like the morals and ethics that like Lutheran Christianity, I guess, gave me. You know what I'm saying? But like, I look at all religions that way, not one. I'm not like, in any case like that, I'm not like a particularly religious person, more spiritual, but just for all the people that are like religious listening to this. This one particular situation was fucked. So all of this money was going and people were selling their kids, people were selling their dogs. And then finally, I'm just kidding. and they got all this money to make this thing. So they start building the fucking thing. So they're building it. They're adding this huge extra part. There's like metal going. There's cranes doing stuff and workers there. And this dude fucking takes off with the money.
That's crazy.
He takes off with all the money, dude, and he bounces. I think he went to like fucking Maui or something. Argentina. I don't know. He's out there. He's still kicking it on the money, and I don't think they found him. Maybe they found him. Shout out to whoever that was. Like,
maybe he's listening to this. Who knows?
Oh, dude, he just like happens to listen to this. Anywho, that fucking church is still sitting there bare because they had to stop the.
Oh, that's so funny.
So they never finished it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so they never finished it. That dude take off, and so like I remember being younger and just being like, "What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, what's happening? What did he do?" I'm like young, and they're like, yeah, it wasn't in the Lord's plan to finish it. And I was like, that fucked me up. Cause like, I remember praying a bunch, being like, dude, I'm doing something wrong. Like, I feel like I did something wrong, I'd sit down and I'd be like, Lord, please forgive me, you know. And then after that, I was like, Lord, why did you take the $2 million? You know?
Yeah.
So it just got me thinking differently. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Not to get into religious talk,
Yeah.
but I feel you. I feel you on like what can happen.
Yes.
Why did you guys, just, if you don't mind, just out of curiosity, why did you break away and stop?
I mean, again, people are going to be mad at me, but it was, I just kind of saw through the bullshit early, and continued to question until it was just like, why the fuck am I going to church?
Yeah.
This is all just, yeah.
Is it similar to like when you found out Santa Claus wasn't real?
Much more gradual.
Yeah, dude. When you found out Santa Claus was
Like that hits, but this wasn't like a moment where I was like, I'm no longer Mormon. No, it was just very gradual, and it's still like, I would say up until like a couple of years ago, like I left when I was like 16 or 17,
Yeah.
and it's still to this day has lingering effects. So it's not something that ever leaves you.
God damn it. Dude, you know what? And I know we gotta sort of start. And I've got one last powerful question, and,
Yes.
I'm excited to hear from you, dude, because you got real deep in this podcast, and this podcast has been good fun.
You've helped me open up. I've actually I don't think I've ever publicly told that story about my depressive thing that I went through. I've never said this publicly. So.
When this comes out, go listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
That will be the utility of listening to you speaking about your truth, like the shit that's happened in your life, dude. That will be profound. That will be profoundly.
Thank
useful.
you for letting me share
No,
this.
thank you for sharing, man. Like, that's amazing. That's why we do this. Think big, live better, motherfucker. That's why we have you on the pod. You're a fucking remarkable dude, and you're going to send amazing message. Just, I know that. I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I was talking to the one guy who broke that world record, you know, like when he was sitting there, I was like, I'm talking to somebody who's going to break a world record. That's going to be extremely difficult. And it was.
Mm-hmm.
And you can feel that fire in their soul from their past, what they've gone through, what the way that they talk around their thing. And when I was out there with them, we did maybe 12 hours on skates. We talked about what greatness is, what greatness looks like, what greatness feels like, what it is to be in the presence of greatness. It's hard to describe in words, but you can feel it when the person's in the room. I feel it when you're in the room. Mm-hmm. I felt it when I talked to you I felt it when I talked to you on the computer. Just you weren't even in a dang space, man, and you were just sending them vibes across the fucking ether, brother.
Thank you.
And fuck yeah, thank you, man. And that's why I love the Big Fitness podcast and this whole thing, because it gives me the opportunity to sit across from a dude who is remarkable, who has this perspective. So fuck yeah, man. Do that though, because that is massive, and continue to push that forward. Mm-hmm. Continue to run unbelievable miles. Continue to fucking because that's the shit that folks see, and it gives them fucking hope, man, that like they can. Mm-hmm. And if they have hope that they can, that's how we get better. Because there has to be somebody who changes the directory of your behavior. There's something that happens. I had one guy on the podcast, he was a gangster, grew up as a gangster, selling drugs, doing the whole thing. And he changed the directory of his life, what he called checkpoints. Mm-hmm. And there was a person in their life that was like, hey, bitch, like you have a lot of potential, do this. And like he at first just wanted to break a bottle over their head and like fucking break their neck, you know, and go sell more drugs. But instead of doing that, he was like, you know what? And he grew up in St. Louis, in the harshest parts of the St. Louis.
Yeah.
And he used that to be like, you know what? I'm going to be the intellectual gangster, as he calls himself.
Yeah.
And then he became a successful hip hop guy. And now he's a successful guy who goes into the gangs and he talks to the kids that are in the gangs and talks about
awesome.
how like you can win. You can fucking get out of this. But it was the checkpoints, dude. It was the fucking going on, scrolling through Instagram and seeing fucking Mason run across the whole United States with his fucking story of trying to help single family parents because of the percentage of people that get fucked up because they don't have somebody in their life that says, look, motherfucker, you can do this. You got this. Fuck all these people, what they're saying, dude, you know? Like, they say you can't, they say you're this, they say you're that. They're trying to make you hate black people, or they're trying to make you hate white people, or they're trying to make you want abortion or not want abortion, or like Mormons, or hate Christians. What the fuck is all of this?
I have to give 3 shout-outs. One is to my wife, because, I mean, these 3 people are these checkpoints for me. My wife is one of them. The other one is my mom, and then the other one is... he was my father figure growing up. His name's Kim Reed. Huge parts of my life. I can't thank them enough. They are my 3 checkpoints.
They're your 3 checkpoints.
Yeah. And I know there's others along the way, but I have to give credit to those three, especially my wife.
Dude, hell yeah. Fuck yeah, wife.
Love you.
No, same. Like I would tell you this, I would be nowhere without my wife. Like, dude, I definitely would not be here sitting here talking to you without my wife. There's no chance. And same deal, I started dating my wife when I was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, the 9th grade. So I'm with
so like
you there.
how many years?
We'll be married for 6 years tomorrow. Or no, 6 years, yeah.
Married for 6? How long together?
It'll be 13 years.
13 years.
14? 2011, so 13 years.
13 years. Dude, that's me and my wife, 13 years, but
Nice.
we've only been married for 3.
Nice. Yeah, we got married super young.
Gotcha.
Don't recommend getting married that young, but I'm glad that we did.
Why don't you recommend?
Because you can have a better wedding, and you can have like your dream dress, your dream suit. You can have more fun with your wedding if you are more established, especially if you have a strong relationship like we had. I don't think there was any reason that we needed to get married except for pressure from family, but that's
Dude, well, fucking, I definitely agree. We were able to kind of do it how we wanted. We paid for it in cash, and I think that you should definitely pay for it in cash. It was good fun, but yeah, we definitely did that, and I definitely recommend that myself.
I'm glad we had a small wedding, but yeah.
No doubt. We actually had 2 weddings because of COVID. I know you guys got to get out of here. Last question, dude.
Yes, ask the
God
question.
damn it, Mason.
I'm sorry.
God damn it, dude. No, I'm serious, man. I'm so happy you came on the podcast. I'm telling you, I'm so grateful for this opportunity, man, and I thank you so much for coming in. I got one more question for you, brother. This is the last question of the fucking podcast. I asked this to everybody because, look, I think everybody has a powerful message. I think everybody has it in them being bottled up in there somewhere, and they just need to get it out. And if everybody in the world, like every 8 billion of these folks heard it, it would benefit them some way. But the problem is, man, the algorithm doesn't let us reach them.
Nope.
It doesn't let them get there, Mason. So, last fucking question of the podcast. If you had the opportunity to have the attention of every single human being on the planet, every single one of them, for some reason, all the way in Africa, in the smallest, third world, village, they were just on the internet, just that's Mason. He's got something to say. And there's going to be, and obviously different languages, so this is going to be translated.
Perfect.
What would your message be to them, my man?
This quote is kind of a funny quote because it comes from a note that you can find in the pocket of an orc in Oblivion, the video game. He's laying next to a dead demon that he killed that also killed him. And the quote is, and this is what I love this quote. It's only by fate that any man dies, but it's only by choice that it is mine.
I love it.
Yeah. And then after, I would say, manifest your life.
What do you mean?
Manifest everything you want, manifest it. If you want it, manifest it, it'll happen. Manifest greatness. It's another quote that I live by. Manifest greatness.
Manifest greatness. Fuck. Mason Wright, thank you for coming on the fucking podcast. Thank you so much, dude. That was fucking dope, dude. You're the fucking man, dude. I believe in you, man. You're going to fucking do it, man. You're going to send this message out, dude. I'm so grateful that we had the opportunity to connect and get you on the podcast and get your message out to the people because people need to hear what you just said, man, because that's fucking dope. Where can they find you, brother?
Instagram, Buff Runner. I'm on TikTok, but TikTok's boring. You can find me on YouTube, Buff Runner. I have my website, buffrunner.com. You also can look at my supplement company. That's mybsups.com. All the stuff is there. If you want to learn more about Project 3434, it's on buffrunner.com or buffrunner.com/Project 3434. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
And as you know, folks, this will be down in the description as always. If all of the fucking influencer people, they all say that at the end, and I try not to say that at all, but there's a thing that's you gotta say it, and it's otherwise some weird percentage of people won't do it. It's down there though. If you go and look wherever you're at, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wherever the fuck, down there. I put all. I'm going to
share this whole journey of getting ready to run across America and then running across America on YouTube, the long format stuff, and then.
Do you have the
Instagram.
YouTube account? too? That's up right now.
Yeah, it's my YouTube channel's Buff Runner.
So it's the same. It's the same account you're gonna use.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So no separate.
I'm doing it all there. And the episodes, it'll basically every episode from here until then is going to be around that or an event that's tied to it.
How often are you posting right now? How often do you post?
Twice a month. I will get more frequent as I have different things going on and as I figure it out. I'm new to the whole YouTube thing, so as I figure it out, it'll get more frequent. But yeah, it's like twice a month right now. I'm trying to get it like once a week. So.
Hell yeah. Well, dude, it was a pleasure talking with you. And everybody who has listened this far, you're the fucking real ones. And thank you for listening. You are the best. And obviously we can't do this without you. Because without you, why the hell are we sitting here talking? But let me tell you what. I'm going to tell you this right now. I just do this as an excuse to talk to fucking dope motherfuckers like Mason. So, but thank you for listening because you do make it possible. And we care about you just as much. And if you guys want to be on the podcast, give me a message. I'll fucking put you on if you're going to do something weird. Let's go. But any case, thank you so much, man. This is so amazing, and I love that I have the opportunity to do this. And guys, always remember, think big, live better, and we'll see you on the next dang podcast. All right. Peace.